Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Russia's defense ministry says it has thwarted a major Ukrainian offensive in Donetsk, claiming to have killed 250 troops and destroyed 16 armoured vehicles. Video of what Russia says is the battle appearing to show military vehicles coming under heavy fire in fields. However, Ukraine's military said it had no information about a major offensive in the region. A Ukrainian counteroffensive has been long awaited, but Kyiv previously said it would not give advance warning of its start. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian military has released a video renewing its plea for operational silence around that long-awaited counteroffensive. The footage shows soldiers putting a finger to their lips, the latest in a stream of messages by Kyiv as it prepares for an assault. Anticipation has mounted around what is expected to be a broad attack by Ukrainian forces to retake Russian-occupied territory in the east and south. But Ukrainian officials have repeatedly discouraged public speculation over the operation, saying it could help the enemy. India's Railway Ministry has recommended that the country's top detective agency should investigate the deadly crash that killed 275 people. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw announced the decision but did not give more details. Railways-led investigations have already started, and preliminary reports say a signal fault led to the crash. The three-train collision on Friday night has been described as India's worst rail accident this century. More than 1,000 people suffered injuries and were taken to hospitals. Some families are still searching for loved ones. An Australian woman imprisoned for 20 years over the deaths of her 4 children has been pardoned by New South Wales State after a judicial review found there was reasonable doubt about the original convictions. Kathleen Megan Folbig was convicted in 2003 for the murder of her 3 children and manslaughter of her 4th. Folbig maintained her innocence and said the children had died of natural causes. An inquiry revisited her convictions in 2022 after new evidence suggested 2 of the children had a genetic mutation that could have caused their deaths.
And so, considering Mr Bathurst's conclusion that he is firmly of the view that there is reasonable doubt as to Ms Folbig's guilt, I consider that his reasons establish exceptional circumstances of the kind that weigh heavily in favour of the grant of a free pardon, and that in the interest of justice, Ms Folbig should be released from custody as soon as possible. And so, this morning at 9:30 I met with the Governor. I recommended that the Governor should exercise the royal prerogative of mercy and grant Ms Folbig an unconditional pardon. The Governor agreed. Ms Folbig has now been pardoned.
Lawyers for the Mirror Group newspapers have accused Prince Harry's side of wasting time by not attending court to give evidence in his own trial. The world's media were out early on Monday to be ready for a glimpse of the prince as he walked into court. Lawyers for Mirror Group newspapers say it was absolutely extraordinary that he was not available for day 1 of his own trial. Prince Harry, along with other celebrities, accuse MGN of using unlawful means to get stories. The group denies phone hacking in this case, but has previously admitted it did take place. Security video shows a dog jumping up scared from his sleep after a sonic boom was heard in Washington, D.C. in the United States. F-16 fighter jets took part in a supersonic chase after an unresponsive pilot violated airspace. The jet fighters created a sonic boom over the US Capitol as they pursued the errant plane. It later crashed into the mountains of Virginia, killing all 4 people on board. An investigation has been opened to see what happened. And New Zealand's former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has received one of the country's top honours, recognising her efforts for leading the country through the COVID-19 crisis, the terror attacks on 2 Christchurch mosques and the White Island volcanic eruption. Ardern was named Dame Grand Companion, the second highest honour in New Zealand, on King Charles's birthday holiday, celebrated by the country on June the 5th, and she made the coronation honours list for this year. The awardee is usually chosen in New Zealand by the Prime Minister and then approved by the British monarch, the head of state. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.